Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Um, this is I have tonight with me a very very special guest. Before I introduce him properly to you, we're just gonna stay with Tahiyyat Islam. We say Assalamu alaikum, Hajj Mohamed Charanek.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Jazakallah kul khair, and thanks for very much for being our guest today. This is really an important day for us to chat about, and also it's a happy time for a lot of our friends and neighbors celebrating Christmas. So personally, I want to wish them a nice weekend and have a good winter break, inshallah.
Inshallah, Eid Mubarak to all our Christian brothers and sisters, inshallah, and the best of health and happiness to everyone in the new year.
Inshallah. Brother Hajj Muhammad, I like the word Hajj Muhammad. Yani people, and I used to say Muhammad Shraini, but everybody say it's Hajj Muhammad. So I think people like that and show how much they respect you as a community member, mashallah. For Hajj Muhammad, we just like usually I ask the guests just talk a little bit more about themselves, but I think really because the time is very important and there's so many questions I received, I'd like to give you the mic to tell us briefly about where we like about the let's hit it right into to the first question and tell us if you don't mind give us just an update on what's going on with the MCC, the organization, and tell us a little bit about the MCC organization. Some people don't know nothing about this community, and so if you don't mind, just enlighten us on the Muslim community in Calgary, and plus where we stand in terms of the MCC.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So let me start out. First of all, one of the misconceptions I think that everyone has is about the structure of MCC itself.
Okay.
The MCC structure itself, and everybody needs to, for those that have not read the bylaws, they are available online. And the bylaws that we operate under, so this is very important, are the 2015 bylaws with the 2019 amendments. There's I believe 4 amendments in 2019 to the bylaws.
Okay.
But officially the bylaws that we operate under are the 2015 bylaws.
Okay.
So why is it very important to understand the structure of the MCC? So when I talk the structure, I mean the legal structure. As far as governance, as far as Canada Revenue Agency are concerned.
Right.
So we have 2 charities officially, and that's it. The 2 charities are the Muslim Association of Calgary and the Muslim Community Foundation of Calgary. So MAC and MCFC are the 2 official organizations of the MCC.
Right.
The MCC directors are the directors of the 2 charities. So when we have elections, we elect the MCC, we elect the directors of MAC and MCFC. Everything falls under these 2 charities. So whether it would be the Southwest Masjid, the Akram Jum'ah Center, Al Hidayah, Deep South, Northwest Musalla.
Yes.
Any of these organizations fall under MCC.
Okay.
So one of these charities.
Right.
So when we, although we have committees for every quadrant or every district in the city, if you want to call it that.
Right.
So for example, my Southwest Masjid here, we have a committee led by our good brother Shahzad Rahmatullah and his team, and they do a great job, just like all the committees around the city, or Akram Jum'ah or Deep South or Northwest, or everything legally comes back to the directors of the MCC. They are the ones that are legally responsible because, like I said, it's the only 2 charities in the structure. So they are the ones that have the authority basically to do all the legal or all the transactional for the organization. As far as the current MCC, and I think probably, Sam, that's kind of what you're leading to.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so the current MCC right now, so normally the MCC is constructed of 11 directors. From
Okay.
the 11 directors, you choose a chairman and a secretary. So currently the MCC, as everyone probably is aware, that there's been some ongoings through the court system.
Right.
Currently it is made up of 14 directors.
14 instead of 11.
Instead of 11, as per court order.
Okay.
So that could change in February, however, because I believe Justice Jeffrey has ordered that there be some sort of binding arbitration.
Right.
So we don't end up in court. He's kind of sick of seeing us in court. I think everybody's sick of seeing us in court. Khair, inshallah. So inshallah, and the directors right now, like all the directors, well, for the most part, let's say most of the directors are involved and are working very hard to do the good work of the community, to move the community ahead and fulfill all the obligations of what a director is supposed to do in the MCC.
Right. So just let me put some questions here, or maybe I'm just gonna read them to you. So there's an ongoing court situation so far. So there's some of the questions maybe you're not going to be able to respond to it directly and clearly, but I'm going to just start with some questions with the current board, which, as you said, it's 14 instead of 11. So the first questions I have is, what is the mandate by the new board? Is there any mandate by the new board, or is still not there?
As far as mandate, do you mean as far as what our vision is, or do you mean by mandate? Well, our vision, of course, is to plot ahead with some of the major activities of this community. For example, we want to we prioritized in some of our meetings which projects need to be restarted. We've had a lot of projects that have been on hold lately, namely the project in the south, with the Masala and whatnot. So that project, and the brothers have collected a good amount of money to start up that project, and it is in our interest as MCC to have that project fired up. Same with Al Hidaya's project. Currently, we're working on multiple issues with the cemetery, right from a permanent structure to reworking the graves and whatnot. We're looking at expanding the educational system throughout the city. I mean, these are some of the things that we're working on right now. Besides all the regular, and there's a lot of regular activity that goes on in a community of our size. As you can imagine, a community of, roughly, I know they say about 80,000, but roughly maybe 50 to 60,000.
Oh, is that right? So, okay.
Yeah, I mean, so we have, there are daily challenges every day, just like any other major organization, I'd imagine.
Right. Sheikh Haj Muhammad, I mean, for the last year, this year, we start to see and to hear a lot of things happening in our community, positive, negative, and in between. First of all, I want your take on it on a personal level. You're a major player. You are just an important community leader for years, and I know I heard so many great things about you, like for the longest time. So before I just ask you this as a chairman, if you can just give us just an idea, like why we reach this, let's say, level of, if I'm allowed to say, mistrust.
That's a very fair question. From what I observed, just from my personal observation.
Yes, personal.
Mistrust from at any level through any organization or whatnot. It could even be from the home or at work.
Right.
where mistrust comes from the lack of communication, the lack of transparency. And that's where a lot of mistrust can festers mistrust. Um, I know for one thing that we plan on doing. So let me just back up a bit and say, like, for example, we're hindered a bit that we don't have our website. We don't have access to our old website.
Right.
Whoever had the passwords is not passing them over to us. That's another story. However, we are launching a new website. And inshallah, once that new website is launched, one of the things that this current MCC is going to do under, my watch,
Right.
is we will post after every meeting our meeting minutes. So
Okay.
people are in touch with some of the issues and what we're going through, because again, so we are representing our membership.
Right.
So our membership should know what we are doing.
Right.
And we are, the trust dollars that we are handling and the decisions we make affect the whole community. And we need to be more transparent with that. So that's one of the things, inshallah, going forward, where we can feel we can earn some of the trust, where people are engaged with what we are doing, they can see. And that's one of the things that does. The community has grown vastly.
Right.
This is another observation I see from a personal level over the years. And it's mashallah, and we have a good problem in this community. The good problem is we're growing, and centers are opening up all the time. New musallas, schools, things like that. So these ongoing challenges are a good thing. However, they need to be conducted in a proper manner, and that is through the channels that, again, are two legal channels, so we don't end up in some legal conundrum afterwards.
Right.
Inshallah, we'll work on gaining the trust back, inshallah.
So, Hajj Muhammad, I totally understand how delicate is the conversation and the situation, and we do truly and do understand your position as a chairman and a community member, because it's not easy to just make yourself available publicly this way and talk about things that been going on for so many years. But unfortunately, since the last 7 years, I should say, there's a negative stigma start to come around these type of organizations. And I tried as much as I can to make it easy for you to speak publicly about it. And that's why I said, if you can and give us your feedback on a personal level, more than just as a chairman. But I totally understand the situation you're in now as a chairman, but also I think I have no doubt in my mind that you want things to be just solved, and you want all the parties to be working together. And I think I'm confident everybody feel that way. So, and I'm gonna start with really maybe this tough question that I ask, and when I said
go ahead and ask all the. If I can't answer the question, I will let you know. Not to worry. Just
okay,
go ahead and ask
because of some of the word, like some of the I'm gonna put it out there for you to answer. I'm just gonna ask. So when I called a friend of mine today, and I told him, this is what I'm doing today. So the first question is the reaction when I said I'm doing this. The guy said to me, "Is this the new legitimate body?" That's the exact word. So I'm just gonna put it to you here. Is this a legitimate body that we're having these days?
Is the MCC legitimate?
Body, the chair, yeah, the board.
Absolutely, no doubt, no question. There is no doubt. There cannot be doubt in anybody's mind.
Okay.
This is the board.
This is the board.
It's number one. It's the elected board.
Okay.
Okay. Number two, it is the court-ordered board.
Right.
So why the two? So number one, there were elections, as everybody knows, on November 1st.
Right.
However, for example, there were some of us that were elected the year prior. So if you know how the MCC structure works, half of the directors will do a 2-year term, and then half will do a 1-year term.
Right.
So there's some continuity. So us that got the 2-year terms in 2019, we're continuous till 2021 elections, half of us.
Right.
And therefore there were elections in November 1st.
Right.
So why do I say the court ordered? Because there has been a challenge to the elections before the courts. And the court said, yes, this is the board until, and I mentioned earlier that the judge had said that we will have a binding arbitration on February 1st. But for some of the ones that are in the election on November 1st, not for the continuous guys, those remain. So is the board legitimate? 100%. So there's no need for us to go prove we're legitimate or not. We have the organization. We conduct the affairs of the organization. I don't know how much more legitimate you want than that. You know, there are legalities to if you're not legitimate and you're conducting the affairs of the organization, there are a lot of legalities to that. And none of us want to end up behind bars. So that is a question that's really not a question. Okay.
So I'm going to shy away from that for now. I'm going to ask you about what is your plan as what is the plan for the board and the MCC these days to have like more engagement with the community? So what exactly steps that you are going to be taking to be engaged directly with your community instead of just we're elected, just like what happened in front. This is how I see it from my own, from my standpoint. The previous or from my experience with the MCC, people get elected and that's you don't hear from them till next 2 years or so. So the question is, what is your plan to keep community engaged with the MCC and with the stuff that's happening? Besides, after every meeting, there's going to be a post, as you mentioned.
Okay. So let me start, first of all, by saying, you know, we're in very unique times now with COVID and what's going on and whatnot. So it's a challenge even for us to get into, let's say, semi-large gatherings of any kind. However, I made this commitment to the South Board last week when we were on a live chat also. I will do as much as I can to make myself or members of our team available to the public to be able to engage, such as tonight, and ask questions. Some of the steps that personally I have taken, I have reached out to, which I don't think is the people have done in the past, or some of them, the leadership, but I've reached out to the presidents of every district. And I have also asked the presidents of every district that we meet once a month so we can all keep in touch with what's going on besides the directors of the MCC. If some of the members have missed meetings, for example, I'll follow up with phone calls and check on them. I followed up last week with the acting chairman of ICNA.
Oh, that's great. Wow, that's great news.
I followed up with them. So we had, as you remember, on Saturday, if you recall, we had the meeting with the South Masalla, and he promised to buy lunch at some point. And I followed up with him Monday. And,
you did.
And again, so one of the things that I spoke to him about, and we spoke to each other, and that we need to connect in a different way. And we're all serving the same purpose. And somehow we can complement each other with some of the services that we offer. And this is, I think, one of the things that we need to do as a community, not look at each other as enemies, but we're all serving the same cause. And we can complement each other rather than cut each other down.
No doubt. But in order to achieve that, we want to make sure we're not going to be repeating the mistakes of the past. Otherwise, we're just going to be spinning from one board to another, and each board is going to come and destroy the reputation of the previous board and pretend this current board is the God-given and chosen board. And that's the whole, the circle goes again and again. But what really got us here is the feelings of, as one of my friends sent me a question and say about power corruptions, and what led to these power corruptions in the past. And really, we need to study and sit and just brainstorm, why did we get here as a community, especially you guys who in responsible now, and you've been voted to do this, and you've been elected, and you have a responsibility to answer to the community, is these the corruptions. This is the power corruption that we see ourselves facing. We want to make sure that we're not gonna find ourselves in it again, and we want to make sure like this board is not about only running the masajid, and inshallah you'll do the other, as you said, other projects, but also we want you to build relationships between communities. So reaching out to ICNA was a beautiful gesture. That was really great. And also I have the other question to say is, what about the other small Muslim community in the city? What is your plan to reach out to all community members, especially those small communities that they do activities within their communities only, instead of being invited to a larger pool of Muslims in Calgary? Is there any plan or project or ideas to reach out to those small minorities, a small Muslim group in the city?
I want to address your first part about the power corruption.
Sure.
Okay, and then we'll get to, because you had kind of a couple of questions in there.
Yes.
The power corruption, if you want to call it that, use your term. So as Muslims, we have Quran and Sunnah. If we don't follow Quran and Sunnah, we'll end up in let's just say in trouble.
Yes.
As MCC, with the MAC and the MCFC, we have our bylaws.
Yes.
As long as we honor our bylaws on our activities, I don't think we can have corruption of power.
Okay.
However, in reading some of the bylaws, I can tell you, and I invite people to read the bylaws, because it's not a very hard read, and you can see how there are a lot of stuff that's kind of left to interpretation.
Yes.
It's like gray area, I would call it. Do we need some tweaks? Yes, we do. I really believe we need to tweak the bylaws and get them right, so we don't end up with a power corruption. Again, I'm using your phrase.
Yes.
And if we all, I liken it to, as I said in previous, I liken it to a good company.
Mm-hmm.
So in a good company, how do you know if you have a good company? That's when you walk away for a month and it still operates like
totally
nothing's gone wrong.
So true.
Or correct?
Yes.
And if you don't have a good company, as soon as you walk away, things are going gung-ho. Exactly. So it is the same with our organizations.
Right.
If we honor these bylaws, it don't matter, because again, whether it's myself or whoever served, we're only, and remember this phrase, we're only transitional custodians of the affairs of this community. Transitional custodians. Somebody else will come in behind us. So that's why I say, if we honor the bylaws, it's like having that good company. And this community can run without having power corruptions or anything like that. So that's my big thing, is we have to do everything by the book. Okay, so, and on your second part, as far as reaching out to organizations, again, I will make myself as available as I can to any organization. I'm available, and you can post my phone number, and I've said this to others. You can reach out to me. I will try to get back to everyone. But I'm not going to shy away from talking to any organization, or if they can complement our bigger organization, absolutely.
I just want to make sure, when we talk about the power corruptions, and you mentioned the bylaws, we know and we witnessed how these bylaws were manipulated so easily in the past. And so what will guarantee us in the future we're not going to run to the same situation where we see a plan of few even playing with the bylaws, casting column for it, whatever, all kind of stuff, and without going into details. So my point is, even the bylaws is not protected from so-called from the corruptions. So is there a formula? Is there a formula? Is there a formula to make sure
the bylaws need to be tweaked? As you know, the brothers that so before, I'm not sure how long you lived in the city, but prior to 2015, So I was born and raised in Calgary.
Mashallah.
I have not moved anywhere. I lived my whole life in Calgary.
I've been here 23 years, so I'm
There
still
you go.
newbies. I'm still
I'm
newbies
over double.
compared to you. Yes.
56 years for me. Uh, so prior to 2015, we've had disagreements throughout. I mean, any big organization, it's a normal thing where you have disagreements. It's like every marriage, you're going to have some kind of disagreements, and then you work them out.
Right.
Prior to 2015, we had never been in court.
Right.
We had never been in courts, and that's the one big thing. Now we've ended up in the courts, and the courts. We need to get back to solving our own problems ourselves. How?
True. How?
You know how? We need to have a council of respected elders and imams. I know Sheikh Ahmed. I think I seen him hooking, and I'm going to challenge all of them.
Please do. They need to be challenged, by the way.
I'm serious. We need to put together. We need to solve our own issues. This community again, and this is the one big thing, and where people are, get defensive and they put their defenses up. It seems like a lot of the centers have some sort of, let's say, issue with they want to control their own destiny. Okay. They want a little autonomy.
Right.
For various reasons. And I want to be on record to say that I absolutely respect that. I respect that every center wants its own, to be able to have their own autonomy,
yes,
to be able to figure out their own destiny. There's nothing wrong with that. And one of the things that I think that was proposed in the past and the brothers had gone for was the 5 charities.
Right.
Again, and I reiterated this before, I think the only mistake with that is we should have had 6 charities, because why did we miss out on Brooks?
Right.
Brooks is one of our centers, and they need to also have.
Okay.
Again, I want to come back to, even with that, there's still a lot of tweaking with the bylaws. And if you read the bylaws of the 2015 that we operate under now,
right,
versus the bylaws proposed for the rest, you can see, and even both need some tweaking, so we don't end up fighting again.
I see. And before I take this, oh, sorry, did I interrupt you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, keep going. Go ahead. Sorry.
Before I forget, because I did mention the smaller communities, smaller Muslim community, they are not part of MCC organization or all the. Is there any plan to reach out to all
For example,
Muslims?
give me an example. Sorry, because I'm not sure who you have somebody specific you're asking about.
Yeah, I mean, as the Green Dome, just to give you an example, I ask all the other Muslim organizations. I mean, just give you name a few. We have a Ismaili community, we have Ahmadi community, we have so many communities, and we're still. I mean, this is where there are Muslims in Calgary, and the question is, are we making enough effort to make sure? I don't want to say reach out to them, because we have our own struggle as organization.
I was going to tell you first we got to clean up our own house.
But
then we can reach out. However, for example, the Green Dome, our brother from the Green Dome was with us last week on the chat, the live chat also. So I believe there is an inclusivity there also. Again, but we listen. We have struggles with us before, and you got to respect a different fact here. And even though that we put ourselves out there, we're still volunteers, Akhi.
Yes.
We still have families, we still have jobs, we have careers, some of us, most of us, and some are retired, but there's only so much time in the day that we can spend on certain things. So we need to get our house in order prior to reaching out to everybody else. But nevertheless, again, I want to reiterate, I am still open to any dialogue or reaching out or complimenting organizations and whatnot. Absolutely.
So I really hope part of that planning and making yourself available as a person or as a board or as an organization to make sure we're going to have a healthy, and you're going to have also this common and shared communications with the other MAC, let's say, or the other IISCs and all the other organizations. We just want to have a place where we can call it, this is the Muslim of Calgary, because in the end, we're all going to benefit from it. Whether I understand you have a little bit of work to do in-house, but also that doesn't make us from stopping planting the seeds for the proper engagement. If you don't mind, I do have a question that I'd like to throw on you, and I'm going to post the questions as they arrived.
Just gonna get my coffee. I keep going.
Yeah. Please tell me. You let me know if you want to answer or not. But I'm just gonna go one by one as I'm reading them here. So we have this questions here from Khadr. Say, is going to be any change with our imams?
No. And however, so in our HR committee, I have asked our HR committee to do a comprehensive review of all our staff.
Okay.
So our human resources is going to look at all the staff, even the imams. I have asked them to do that for various reasons. I want to make sure that we are optimizing all our staff to the best of our ability.
Right.
So when I took on the responsibility, I take the amana, I take it very seriously. So for me, I want to make sure that things are running as smooth as they can, that imams are utilized to the fullest, that the staff is utilized to the fullest. I believe that's my responsibility when I take on the amana. However, to answer Khadr's question, no, we're not looking at changing any imams, no.
Is there any mechanism to weigh in the performance and the work of imams, or is that something within your like mandate, or
we do have an imams committee.
Yes.
So right now we have 5 centers in Calgary locally, but I know we have more musallas.
Right.
We have five districts. I apologize. We have 5 districts plus Brooks. However, we only have 3 imams.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So one of the things we're looking at is to expand that. I know in the Southwest right now, I don't know if you're familiar with Sheikh Abdurrahman Khattab.
Personally, I'm not, and I'm so sorry for that.
Yeah, he's just been volunteering time, but we're looking at him as imam also. We're looking at basically filling more imam positions in the city. However, we want, again, we're in a unique time with this COVID, and it's kind of put a curveball into how much time the imams can spend physically with some of the membership, whether it's doing halakas or programs of all kinds. I have last Sunday, I sat with the imams. And again, I challenged them to get a little more creative, to get more electronic, and engage the community that way.
Right.
So they will, and they're trying, and I know they're going to go at it. However, again, like I said, everyone is under review right now, and we'll move forward from there, inshallah.
And I like the word you mentioned, creative, for imam to be creative. I really think imam definitely need to be creative, because there's a huge responsibility. We all longing and really hungry for knowledge and for that guidance and for that spiritual and faith leadership. So creativity is really something that's going to help. It's going to help to us, all of us.
Well, reaching the masses has changed.
Yeah, exactly.
So we need to keep in touch with know what's working now.
So talking about reaching the masses, I just want to put Simon Jamal comment here, which is really sad, and you mentioned it, but unfortunately we don't know. I don't know who's responsible for this and how we end up here. But I just want to I don't know if you can read that, or I'll read it for you. It's too sad the owner of the last MCC website is not given access to the new board. This is really unheard of in the organization. Hangover. Honestly, this is this is our Trump syndrome. Unfortunately, when there's a new elected body, the previous one just did not give access to the website. Unfortunate. I want to make sure, though, for those people who don't know this, they know it by now, because Brother Mohammed mentioned that, but the Simon Jamal also comment about it. But unfortunately, the website, the MCC website, I don't want to use the word hijacked, but it's not been released to the new bodies. Is that
So,
fair
so
statement?
yeah. So again, when, as I mentioned earlier on, also that we need to honor the bylaws. So what
Right.
happens in the bylaws? It specifically says that the custodian of all the passwords and intellectual property for the organization are with the secretary.
Mm-hmm.
So normally in a normal course, a normal procedure is the website belongs to MCC in the normal procedure. However, this time, this website did not belong to MCC, even though it's an MCC website. Somebody
Right.
else owned the domain. So in a normal course of action, the secretary, come election time, gives all the passwords to the election committee chairman.
Right.
Once the elections are done, you have your first meeting. In the first meeting, we select a chairman and a secretary. And at that time, the election committee chairman hands over all the intellectual property to the new secretary. And then the new secretary has everything, access to the website and everything like that. And then when his term is done, again, he hands it over to the next election chairman, and same process. However, that process did not happen this time around. And
Unfortunately, and
unfortunately, so that's a kind of, and we've asked multiple times, and we've reached out to, of course, the whatever the bylaws would tell you, to no avail. So we felt it very necessary, because our website is going to be our lifeline. As I said to you,
yeah,
it's a different way of reaching the masses these days. So it is our lifeline to the community.
right.
Inshallah, whether we're posting events, whether we're doing fundraising, whether, Ramadan activities and whatnot. I mean, the multitude. So our website, inshallah, with the hard work of Abdullah Shibli and his team, they got a good team going, and Wissam Adil.
What's
Inshallah,
Abdullah
they will.
Shibli now? Do you mind? Do you mind? This is like questions I have here. If you don't mind, maybe I'm going to jump right into it. Do you name, or is it possible to name the board, not the current board members?
Oh
Is that
yeah.
something easy you can share with us? And what is their like functions as boards?
Okay, I could probably. I'll try.
Okay, so while you try, and I'm gonna
I'm gonna
hit you on
go. I'm
another
gonna go. I'm
questions.
gonna go with by memory here, but
Yeah, go by memory, sure.
so myself, of course, Iftikhar Bari is the secretary, and then we got. I'll go by centers, that way I'll try to remember who.
Right,
Samir Omar and Mohamed Ta'mi out of the Akram Jum'ah.
right,
We have myself and Wissam Al from the southwest.
right,
From the deep south, we have our brother Muzaffar Ahmed and
right.
Iftikhar Bari, as I mentioned. That would make 6 of us. Our Brooks, our really, really good brother. This is a brother that, inshallah, we need to bring more into the limelight. Our
Inshallah.
good brother Muhammad Idris.
Yes.
Al Hidayah, we have brother Sadaqat Sayyid. We have brother Fawad Khan,
Mhm.
and brother Khalil Karbani. MashaAllah, he's been working hard
Oh, yeah,
too. I want to
Mhm.
give kudos to him. The Northwest, we have Arshad.
Ahun?
I got to remember Arshad's last name. I'm
That's
embarrassed
okay.
now. Masoud, I think. Arshad Masoud.
Yes.
Abdullah Shibli, and Mustafa Hassan.
Oh, nice.
Did I miss anybody? I think that's it.
That's it. Oh, okay. So that was a really good quiz. You passed.
Okay.
So the next questions I have here from brother Abdul Abbas. Is the question is for brother Muhammad. What is your safeguard are or will be put in place to prevent the fitna from happening again?
Again, Akhid, so to prevent, I mean, that's a kind of an open question, brother
Okay.
Abu Abbas. It's inshallah, we want to avoid. How do you avoid fitna? Again, the brotherhood, understanding each other, communication, these types of stuff. If you put safeguards, for example, in the bylaws, so how it works with bylaws also, because people say, well, do this. Nothing can be done without an AGM. And
Right.
in the AGM, You have to have a certain amount to get quorum, and then you have to have a percentage to be able to tweak or change anything in the bylaws. So it's not as simple as just going and waving a pen and doing these things. However, I believe that if the leadership on any side is together, it's not hard for the membership to kind of follow along with what we're going to do, as long as we're doing the right thing, of course. So that's not a bad thing, inshallah. And that's the one thing we want to work towards, is for us to be harmonious at the leadership level, at the MCC level, and then into the district leadership level, and then into the membership level. And by then, inshallah, we can have something that works for everyone. So that could, inshallah, avoid a fitna.
Okay, inshallah. I just want to give a tip to those 74, 75 people joining us now. So I just want to give a quick advice. The more you click the like button and the red heart button, the more Brother Muhammad is going to just relax a little bit and give us all the answers you want. So if you're enjoying the evening so far, please do me a favor and try to share the videos as much as you can, because we want really people, the Muslim community in Calgary, to be aware of what's going on. But also those likes and shares and all that stuff, it really helps to connect the video to more people. So do us a favor. We're sitting here talking, and just do your part and click that like or dislike button. It doesn't matter. Just keep your finger clicking, please. So I move to the next question.
So Brother Burhan Khan.
Oh, sorry.
I can see Brother Burhan Khan asked the question. So I
sorry. I'm so sorry. I missed that. Yes. Yes. Who is controlling the bank?
Brother Burhan. Yes. So Brother Burhan, the officially through the courts and through MCC, until either we can change it, through the MCC through a majority vote. There are 3 signing authorities right now, as of today, to the bank accounts. That's myself, Samir Umar, and Iftikhar Bari. So again, if you understand the MCC structure, if I log on to the bank account, and this is again, this stuff belongs to the membership, so the membership should know. Right. If you go on to TD Bank and you click on Mac and you open up the bank account for Mac, you will have about, I believe it's about 14 bank accounts.
Oh, under Mac.
Under Mac. But 3 will belong to the Southwest Masjid, for example. 1 or 2 will belong to Brooks, because these all fall under Mac. Same for Islamic Center of South Calgary. And if you click, and the Northwest Musalla, if you click on to MCFC, for example, you'll have the same. You'll have bank accounts for Al Hidayah. You'll have bank accounts for Akram Jum'ah Center. But as I told you, in the organizational structure, everything belongs to MAC and MCFC. Okay, so even though, for every, and why double bank accounts for some? Because you need an operational account and you need a projects account.
Oh, I see. Is this
so you'll have 2 accounts. However, we have discovered lately, once we got access to the bank, and that we have as many as, I believe, 49 bank accounts.
Oh my goodness.
So one of the things we want to do right now, we're in the middle of, is consolidating all the bank accounts, getting rid of, there's some that have been inactive, some have been opened up recently. We want to consolidate all the bank accounts for all the centers in cooperation with the center. We'll sit them together. Once we know all the bank accounts, we'll consolidate. Again, and we're not going to do it, even though it's a MCC's prerogative to do it. We want to do it in consultation with all the centers. So listen, okay, for example, your center has 5 bank accounts. Do you really need 5? Like, consolidate them into 2. You should have an operations account and another account for projects or whatnot. So that's one of the things, inshallah, from a finance committee perspective. Again, the finance committee is looking into this, so we will look after that. consolidating the bank accounts. But to answer your question, Brother Burhan, there's 3 signing authorities again: myself, Samir Omar, and
And
Iftikhar
Iftikhar.
Bari.
I'm with 49 accounts combined.
Correct.
Okay, good luck then.
But it's not, they're not all active again, brother. So I
Yeah, I
don't
understand.
want to have that confusion go out there. That
Sure.
there are
No, that's fine.
49
That's fair. Thanks for at
active
least that's
accounts.
something.
Yes.
Nadim is asking, do you think this 2 years term is enough, or what do you expect to improve or manage all these projects from start to finish? Do you think the 2 years term is enough for you guys to deliver or to make a change?
So one of the things that we do, we facilitate at the
Right.
MCC level.
Right.
Okay. So at the MCC level, you facilitate how? Through either an AGM or an SGM.
Right.
And then once that project is approved, for example, for South Calgary,
Mm.
you know, you rely on the district and the good volunteers and the leadership of the district to get that project kicked off and whatnot.
Right.
So is it long enough for 2 years? Again, if the system is good, it doesn't matter who's in the leadership, and if there's a
One, I like
turnover,
that. Sure.
you continue with the project.
Makes sense. If yes.
So yes, I mean, inshallah, some of these projects they go on with or without us. You know, one of the things I want to give a really huge, like, I mean, I can't even say how thankful I am to our sister Maha Al-Ghul. Maha Al-Ghul the other day, and this is an example of volunteerism. So about 3 weeks ago, we were having some things that we're having to restart things, because a lot of the information that belongs to the MCC was taken by certain people. I'll just leave it at that. And jumped in and has been volunteering for about 3 weeks now, or her time, like, I mean, serious volunteering, multiple 12-hour days a lot of times.
MashaAllah.
And this is the kind of thing we need to see at the center level for our communities when there are projects. So it's not, again, so this leadership is not managing a project. The MCC does not manage the project. We'll facilitate the approval for that. Every project, how do you do that? So every project, for example, there are certain protocols, getting 3 quotes, for example, trying to go with the best foot forward for a project and whatnot. That's at the MCC level. And again, it has to be approved by the general body in an AGM or SGM, whatever it might be at the time. We facilitate that, and then the project should carry from there on.
Perfect. Thanks for what you mentioned about Maha. It's really important for leadership to recognize the hard work of volunteers and volunteerism. As you know, Maha has been a dedicated volunteer for years, but also this community it's so rich with volunteers and volunteers. There's a lots of people, Brother Mohammed, want to do work and want to do volunteers. But as I said, the lack of whatever happened in the past, it's really caused a lot of people to shy away from it. So I'm asking you here as a member of this community to reach out to anybody and everybody and make it so easy for people to volunteer. But I think most importantly is find ways to attract people to do that kind of work, because I think it's really your responsibility to rebuild the trust again, so more Mahas will come forward. And we know we have a lot of Mahas out there.
Inshallah, inshallah. Like, for example, at the Southwest Masjid here, I keep mentioning because that's who I belong. That's my district.
Yeah, okay. So you're being biased to the Southwest. Okay, that's fine.
But there's another sister, Sister Nada in at Akram Jum'ah.
Oh,
again,
yeah.
It's the sisters of Allah that are pulling the community right now.
Right.
It's not the brothers. With all my respect to the brothers, we're a little bit behind. But whether it's Sister Nada or Sikandar Mamoon in the Southwest, Sister Nada, sorry, yeah, I mean they have volunteer on WhatsApp volunteer groups, and you can sign up to that volunteer group, and they'll assign you things to do. So I mean, as a volunteer, look for that at your local center, at your local district, your local masjid. I mean, it starts there for you, and everybody's looking for some type of volunteer work.
Okay, we're gonna forget. So there's so many volunteers out there, because you mentioned too. So always make it Talte Sabati in Arabic, we say the third one is just the seal of the deal. So we're going to mention Simon Jamal as one of the great volunteers in our community.
Well, of course.
Okay, so I'm going to hit you with the really, I don't know what the question, Tahir, brother. Tahir, thanks for this question, if you don't mind. And you feel sorry for this lengthy one, but it says, you would like to read it, Muhammad?
Yeah, I'm just reading it. My question regarding the fringe group. Okay.
Right. So the question is regarding reforming the group and having restored a cheap tactics and name calling.
Yeah. So Brother Tahir, again, for that, I mean, absolutely. I don't think anybody is into the name calling, cheap tactics.
And calling himself Haq, you know, I mean, I think we all know what he's referring to.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the name calling, I mean, nobody stands for that.
I would like to read it if you don't mind, because for those people who are listening,
I can't read.
I'm going to read it. Okay. This is the question from Tahir Latif. The question is, my question is regard the fringe group of people that have restored to cheap tactics and name calling. I have chosen to stay apart and neutral because I don't see one can claim to be on haqq and do things that are un-Islamic. This apply to both sides. I think he's saying. Maybe there's another part, but this is, and I heard it from. There's a lot of people got really hurt by this. Let's so call it, and I don't want to say negative wording, but when you attack anybody, maybe you have a problem with one person, but that way you discouraged a lot of people from participating. So the name calling and personal attack, I don't think it's really doing the community. Maybe it's building something, but it's destroying other things. And the question is, how much is building and how much is destroying? So I'll leave that to you to give us a feedback on that, Hajj Muhammad.
Well, our Islam allows us to have difference in opinion, but it does not allow us to name call each other, right? We can have difference of opinion, and of course, we always respect the majority rule. However, I know this is not politics, but anytime you're at a position in a public eye, you got to be able to take some of the some verbal abuse that comes at you in some way. Yeah, I mean, it's I don't like, absolutely. I mean, nobody likes the name calling.
Well,
inshallah, it doesn't happen in the future. Again, one cannot be discouraged by such thing because there is a bigger cause. Our cause is bigger, right? As for Brother Tahir, yeah, again, don't be discouraged by that. Go to your local center, see how you can help. It's amazing when you get involved and you start connecting with people and you connect with leadership and whatnot. You get a different perspective on things. Just like, you know, like we're connecting right tonight. If people did not know, for example, who is this guy, Mohamed Charanek? Well, here he is, man. You can talk to him and you'll get a different perspective.
Right.
Once the night is over, and that's the same. If you go and just don't be discouraged by that bad stuff and just go volunteer, inshallah, you'll get a different perspective of things.
Don't you think you have an obligation as a community leaders and community members as well to stop this or prevent it from happening or mediate these kind of things instead of just let everybody just you know, burst out of whatever and just destroy the work of so many because of he's upset of something?
Yeah, again, I don't encourage anybody to name call or like some of the things. It's completely, and I hate to say or put our imams under a little thing here, but at some point they need to come and say, hey guys, this is un-Islamic, okay, what you guys are doing.
Perfect.
That should be happening.
So
go ahead.
As a community, we need to make sure we're going to play a positive role to stop the spreading of so-called this is open personal attacks that's really destroyed I would say When you mix the good work with bad work, and we see a lot of people shy away from this organization or these organizations
Listen,
because
Sam,
of that.
the person that initiates all that type of bad, let's say, or name calling and whatnot, they're the ones that come out looking bad afterwards. That's all I want to say about it. And they don't come out looking good if they're name calling or cheap shotting. So let's leave it at that and move on to something else.
No, that's fine. When somebody do bad things, there's ways to make sure that they're gonna be held responsible, and they're gonna be responsible whether in front of the community or by the law. But I would say to unleash and keep the field open for any kind of attacks. I think that's really, as I said, you're building something, but you're destroying other things. And the question is, you have to weigh in like how much gain and how much loss that these statements are causing. I'll move to the next questions here from Asila Ashmawi. Says, from your point of view, how much confidence do people have to place in the board, and why should we trust it? What
distinguishes it from the last board?
Yes.
Okay. Well, for Sister Asila, number one, I think Islamically you have to trust, inshallah, in your brothers and sisters that are on this board. And what distinguishes it? What would we gain the trust back? Again, we touched upon that before. Is going to be, inshallah, the transparency. We'll be as transparent as possible, right down to, our financial situations, as transparent as possible. Again, we're limited right now from communication because we don't have the website, but inshallah, everything will be on the website. You'll be able to see everything that this board does. Inshallah, that will bring the confidence of the people back and trust this board. So we don't come in looking to fail. We come in, inshallah, looking to succeed.
With good faith.
And if we succeed, the whole community succeeds.
100%.
So, inshallah. And again, everyone has concerns. I understand, wallahi, everybody's concerned. And but inshallah, everybody can put the faith back in the community and work with us. Again, it's not 11 directors that run the community. It's the volunteers. It's you and everyone else that volunteers.
Khalid asked, I think the MCC is big enough to have a third-party administrator, the MC. Is that something?
Okay, so is big enough to have a third-party administer the MCC, the MC?
Yeah, most likely the MCC.
Okay, so Brother Khalid, I don't know if you're getting at the election part of it, or if you're talking about the MCC itself. Maybe he can reach back in and I can answer his question, inshallah.
Okay, all right. Amar, I'm just going to go one by one. So whatever question next, I have no idea yet, unless if you want me to vet it, and I'm not going to vet that. Whomever have questions, I'm just going to post them for you, and that's how I think you agree to it, and you want to be transparent and answer all the questions. So keep up the good work. This is from Amar Shaheen.
Barakallah feek, Akh Amar.
So Suzanne says, yes, we do need an Islamic council to help us solve our own issues rather than take problem to the court. We need resolutions according to the Sharia, the perfect laws.
And here we go again. Sister Suzanne, she's in our southwest quadrant, and she does a lot of good work again. So all the sisters are getting.
Muhammad, you're in big trouble tonight. You're in big trouble because you mentioned Tunis.
But I absolutely agree. And that's the one thing I said, respected elders and imams, there should be a committee that solves. We should never, and this is the one thing I'd like to see changed in the bylaws, that no Muslim can sue another Muslim with Muslim trust
Money.
Dollars. Ever.
Trust dollars. Yeah,
trust
that's
dollars.
true.
Ever.
Can't even.
This I feel very strongly about. Now I know right now there's cases going on back and forth, but there's got to be an end to this. And never again should this ever happen. Not a dollar, because when people donate, that money does not go to pay off lawyers. This money is for different causes.
So, Muhammad Ahmad Jaha, we love you and support MR Charanek, and we love what you are doing with this great community. God bless you.
Barakallah feekum. And again, wallahi, I just want to say it is the volunteers that make this community. You know, back when we first bought the Akram Jum'ah Center,
Right,
you know, I was blessed with the ability to be able to volunteer back then. And there was Sheikh Ala, Bassam Thraya, all the Suraya boys. I can't mention Jihaz. There were so many brothers that would come in, and we did a lot of renovation work, for example, and a lot of work was done over about a year period. But it
right.
wasn't the work; it was the brotherhood that developed doing that
So true.
was timeless. I mean, we're
Right,
still all connected, all because of that. So connected. And
right.
volunteerism, when you come, inshallah, that's what it'll do. And that's why I keep coming back to the volunteers. You build from there, and you build relationships. You're involved with your community. Inshallah, you get your reward from Rabbna subhanahu wa ta'ala when the time comes. It's all good.
So, guys, for all these people watching the video, just press the like button or the heart button for all these volunteers in our communities, because they really deserve to be recognized. So, if you want to greet our volunteers, hit the like button on this video, please. Now, here you go, talking about volunteers. You got your nada. Muhammad has always strived for unity and the diversity, our board and leadership. He strong oppose personal or racial attack. I can't stress strongly to this. So I think another. I
Thank you,
definitely
Sister Nada.
yes.
Wallahi, I'm like, Sister Nada is one of the volunteers, and she volunteers on the board. Of course, she's on the board of the Akram Jum'ah Committee, but she does incredible work. Wallahi, incredible work. She uplifts us all with the hard work she does. She's involved also in a lot of subcommittees outside of the Akram Jum'ah Committee. So if you want to look up to someone that volunteers, look up to Sister Netta, inshallah, and she'll show you the path how to volunteer.
Beautiful. Thanks, Nada, for everything you do. And hit the like button, please. I think when I ask about these smaller groups, Burhan Khan is saying about Shia is to make sure that we are connected somehow as a Muslims in the city. And he gave us, I think here is an example for Shia. If you want to say anything there.
I got to watch out because my doctor's a Shia.
And my doctor too is a Shia too, yes. No, not my doctor.
I love
Used
him.
to be.
I love him, though.
Used to.
In case he's watching. I love you, Dr. Ali. In this, you know, we leave our countries to come to this melting pot here in Canada. And, you know, we leave everything behind. And, you know, we're all respected. Our faiths are respected in this country. And we need to show that to all the other faiths. Even though, you know, they're not the same as ours or whatnot. Again, like whether it's the Christians, the Jews, other Muslims, we respect all likes here in this country, inshallah. And
Sure.
yeah, I don't know what else to tell you on that. But
I will try to pick some questions, not to make sure it's not repeated. Maybe I should. MCC website. So I think this is we already talked about the MCC website board doing many.
Okay, so I understand what Brother Khalid is saying. So Brother Khalid, the one thing again, so this time, inshallah, the domain will be owned by the MCC. So as far as I'm not very tech savvy, let's put it that way. So I'm not sure on having IBM or somebody actually host it. However, I know that when our time comes, inshallah, at the next election, absolutely everything, the intellectual property will be turned over to the election committee chairman. There'll be no doubt about that. And that has to be respected.
So
this
true.
time around, the domain of the MCC will be owned by the MCC, not by a third party.
Beautiful.
So inshallah, that's one of the things that we will take.
Before I take Ziad, beautiful questions. I just have a question came to mind right now. Is our system now, is the bylaws structured in a way, whether now or in the future, to create some kind of like healthy bureaucracy So when whomever on top of the helm is not going to be affecting whatever happened on a daily basis. Is that something like, are we structured that way, or are we able to do that kind of stuff?
Okay, so the structure again, I want everybody to do this. Please take half hour, read the bylaws. Read the bylaws. You know, I number one, I'm not a legal expert. Of course, I'm a car dealer, right?
Right,
But
right.
so, but however, I've read the bylaws over time and time again, and it's amazing because you'll learn. You'll learn when I say that the bylaws have a little gray area or subject to interpretation. You can kind of see it. You don't have to be a legal expert, but the bylaws give the chairman, whether it's the old chairman, the new chairman, the way previous chairmans, they have the responsibility of managing the affairs, the kind of general managing the affairs of the organization. So sometimes the chairman does take certain things, certain actions that perhaps are questionable.
Okay.
However, at the same time, you still have to honor the bylaws. Honor the bylaws. The bylaws are clear. Even though that there are some things that need tweaking, they're very clear. Honor the bylaws. That's all I keep saying.
Inshallah, well, inshallah we will, and we will find ways to make sure these bylaws are going to be honored, not to be manipulated. Ziad, brother Ziad asked a really beautiful question, saying here in Arabic, Barakallah fik, Muhammad, brother Muhammad. There's a lot of people who think this organization is his own property, and he has every right to manage it or tweak it or do whatever he wants as a personal property. So, what do you say to that? Those who come as elected, and all of a sudden he start to act like he's just like al mukhtar.
Okay. So the one, yeah. Unfortunately, the it is a huge responsibility. Again, I want to stress that the undertaking is immense.
Right.
However, for one to take it as his own, um, let me put it to you a different way. One has to fear Allah to be able to take this. And if one fears Allah, he doesn't want this position. I don't want this position. This is a very responsible position.
Yes.
So, and if you keep that in your mind when you act on a daily basis, and you always should check your niyyah.
Nia.
Shuf niyyah, niyyah.
Your intention.
Your intention. Check it every day. Check your niyyah every day, and question yourself. Um, so if somebody comes with the intent of something else, again, Rabb subhanahu wa ta'ala, bihasib when your time comes. When your time comes, you will be held to account for whatever actions you take. Although sometimes we think in the dunya, we're getting away with things. I truly believe bil akhirah, everybody gets their just reward.
So
Whether
true.
they were good or bad, you'll get your just reward. Khair,
So
inshallah.
no doubt the fear of Allah will prevent people from thinking that way. But
Inshallah,
unfortunately,
inshallah, akhi. Again, if you don't fear, man, you're
Uh,
in
but
trouble.
but also it's our responsibility to make sure we have a mechanism in place. الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم بيقول المؤمن كيس فطن. So كيس فطن meaning which is I mean yes, we do have to have faith and trust and let people do their work because they're elected and with the hope that they're going to fear Allah. But also it's our obligations, our job and duty to have the mechanism in place to make
Yeah,
sure.
the mechanism is called elections. That's our mechanism.
Yeah, that's
It's
fair.
called elections.
That's
And
fair.
and there's been a lot of apathy where people don't go out and vote. But mashallah, in the last, and I want to, I'll give a shout out to a lot of brothers for this that did a lot of hard work for the elections, brothers and sisters, to bring people out, to bring the vote out. But that's the one thing that we unfortunately don't exercise enough. Again, I said we have probably 60,000 Muslims. How many voted in the last election? 3,000?
2%, not even.
So, yeah, again, so that's the mechanism. Get out, exercise your vote, Don't wait for the last second and then go get your membership, a week before the elections. That's not fair. Be active, be involved, like volunteer. But your mechanism is your election. And If you didn't like the board, for example, the last 10 years, well, you probably didn't go out and vote. Let's
Right.
get these voters out there,
So
exercise
true.
your vote. That is the mechanism.
Next question I have for Abdullah Abbas. We already talked about this imams, so I'm just gonna pass that and let's see whatever the MCC want to do with the imam. I think this is ongoing, restructured everything, including the job descriptions of so many and all their employees. Oh, Ahmed Jaha, same thing. The old MCC, I think we already talked about. We don't want to just keep it up, open up the warm for brother Muhammad. We love you. I think we said that. Okay. Talking about all this good work we have, I think we owe it to Amar Hajar to say Assalamu alaikum, Amar, you and the other Amar, the Umarain. We have the Umarain. I call them the Umarain at the Akram Jama'ah. Jazakallah khair. I think that we already touched on the sisters. We mentioned few sisters. Actually, we mentioned sisters. We don't mention guys. But do you think our other half, Muslim women in Calgary, are they there yet? Are they represented right? Are they engaged properly? And what's your thought on that? The other 51% of us.
Okay. Mashallah, all the sisters got the shout out tonight, but I think we're still behind, right?
For sure.
And I spoke to this very recently, and as you know, we encouraged in the Southwest Sister Norma Salem to run, because I believe she's an extremely qualified candidate. She's more qualified than myself, and I expect, inshallah, that some of the sisters will run for the MCC. And I think they can kind of keep some of the guys in line when they get into the MCC. But I encourage all sisters to run. Of course, we're there. Again, as I said a little bit earlier, that a lot of the sisters are leading the charge on many things right now. They are, whether it's Sister Mahal Ghul or Sister.
Without mentioning name, please.
Okay. So, but my point though is, yes, the sisters are at that time. They should be in the leadership. Absolutely.
But do you think are we making it easy for them?
Do we make it easy? Are you talking from a cultural perspective or from a leadership perspective? I mean, there's
I would say
things
so.
that,
Yeah. I know this is a touchy subject.
It's a bombshell question.
Right.
Do we make it easy? Again, I can't really answer. As far as I'm concerned, me personally, I'd love to see some sisters in the MCC. Absolutely. Again, because I believe they are more than qualified to be there. Not because we want to see sisters just because they're sisters. I believe they're very qualified to be in that position.
And do you encourage do you encourage the MCC organizations and people and the community that belong to the MCC? Are you in favor, or is this an open invitation for Muslim women in Calgary to get more involved with the MCC organization, whether on volunteering side or an educational side or any levels?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no question about that. Absolutely. 100%.
Okay, well, I would like to dig more deeper into this question, but I'm going to let it slide. So Ziad says, I think three people in Northwest. It's anyway. Is that you want to reply to? Is that something you want to answer?
So I could reply to that. So again, Ziad, I don't think we need 3 people in the Northwest. There are actually 3 in the Northwest and 3 at Al Hidayah. So again, as I mentioned, the court order was for 14 directors. Some of the districts that were in dispute still have 3 directors. The judge has offered a binding arbitration in February. So until that happens, but again, I want to say this to Brother Ziad also. What my take on this is, one of the I'm not going to mention a name, but one of the directors that, so let's just say, was in dispute, mashallah, he's going to work very hard. And why would I want him to not be on MCC? Whether whether he likes me or dislikes me, if he's doing good for the community, I mean, the more the merrier. Like I wish we could have 99 directors if they're all working very hard for the sake of
So
the community.
true.
Why
And
not?
that's something I totally agree with you. When you see somebody who really want to work, who want to work hard, and they do whatever it can instead of encourage them, unfortunately, we
Yeah,
find
we
a
don't discourage.
situation.
We don't want to discourage. Absolutely.
Yeah, unfortunately, some people take it, as I said, just like also Ziad said, some people think of this organization as a personal property. I just have an incident happen to me 2 days ago, without going into details, and I was just faced with very similar. Like, the more you work, instead of people appreciate what you do, all of a sudden you think you've been cut off or just eliminated. Unfortunately, but that's, I think, human things, human nature, I should say.
Uh,
Is there any disabled person in the board?
oh, is there a disabled person on the board? I don't believe a disabled person ran for the board. Let's put it that way. Again, I don't think that a disability is a factor of being on the board. So, I mean, I encourage everybody to run. Everybody to run.
We need Suzanne Najmuddin, same thing. We need more sisters in a position of leadership within our community. So here you go.
Again, and Suzanne, I know she does. She's leading a lot of events in the Southwest. So I consider that leadership, Suzanne. I know you do a great job up there, and just keep it up. And we encourage, yes, run for the positions.
And make it easy for them to run, Brother Muhammad.
And no sisters ran for MCC directors. Actually, Sister Norma, yeah, she pulled out. And I think so did who else was running in the Southwest? Brother Ali Asif, actually.
No.
And he pulled out those two. And then I think Wissam Aql won by acclamation.
Okay. I'm just going quickly here by the questions because the timing. Thank you. Sam says, wow, what? Okay. We're going to go to the next one I have here. What is your plan to regain people confidence in this board and this organization? You would you touch on that, or you like to?
Yeah, we touched on that, inshallah, and being transparent, being open to this type of dialogue, for example, on a regular basis. I'm open for anybody to reach out, whether through email or through phone.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we have people. So I can see that a lot of people. Everyone has his own account. Okay. Let's see, Ali Arafi.
Do we have separate bank account for the cemetery? Absolutely. The cemetery has its own separate bank account.
No.
So right now, brother Ali, Ali Rafi. So right now, brother Ali, what's happening with the cemetery? Again, I think I touched upon it. We have a couple of things happening. Inshallah, we're looking at some type of structure at the cemetery, and I don't know if you know Bilal al-Rafi. Actually, he Barakallah fi, he spearheaded a really good, let's call it a change to the way the graves are set, so the graves don't collapse and whatnot. He's working with the MCC on that. So there's a lot of stuff going on, inshallah, with the cemetery, but it is a separate bank account. As far as the bank account goes, it's a separate bank account, yes.
Okay, say Sam Jaha says, why don't you guys show what comes in and out every week in terms of money? I think.
I believe, yeah, he's probably talking about money. So it'd be hard to do every week, Sam. As you can imagine. So in our accountant department right now, we have 2 people, and they are more than overwhelmed. I mean, there's a lot of work, so they're always doing things. However, posting our financial status, let's say once a month or that's going to happen, inshallah, or once every couple of months. There should be no reason, because this is, again, it's this all belongs to the membership, so the membership should see it, inshallah.
So there is a plan to make sure the financial will be available.
So the financials will be. So the one thing that there's a couple of things going on right now. So it's December 31st. So our 2019 tax returns are due. So inshallah, once that gets they get completed and submitted to CRA, we'll
Right.
be able to post them to everyone, inshallah, very soon.
Inshallah. This is a call from Nida Mari. If you want to volunteer, to contact Nida Mari directly. And also another quick questions just to follow by Ali. Said, do you have any future development plan for the cemetery? And if so, what are they?
So again, we have plans for structures. There's actually a comprehensive plan. We will share that very, very soon. So we have it in our board. It was presented at our last meeting. So our last meeting was on Tuesday. What's today? I forget which day we are here.
Right.
Yeah, it was on Tuesday, a couple of days ago. And it was a special meeting, so we couldn't touch on all the subjects. However, the comprehensive cemetery update was held over till, inshallah, we'll deal with it on the MCC level on December 31st. We have our next meeting. So inshallah, we'll deal with it next Friday. Inshallah. And we'll be able to post that and show everyone kind of what's going on once we approve something, inshallah.
And also this call also came from Southwest, I think from Suzanne regarding volunteering. Southwest Midget. So you can also contact Suzanne, I think, if you want to volunteer. So I'm going to move to Hussein Rafi. Say, how much monies has been spent on lawyers, past and current board?
Okay, that's again. So, Brother Hussein, that's a tough question.
Okay,
so
do your best.
Number one, we don't have, and I will not divulge an exact dollar figure right now. We have a rough idea. However, until we get all the, we've asked for all the an audit, basically, of all the lawyers of the accounts. So until we get and we know exactly what the money was spent on, because I think for Brother Hussein and for everybody out there, there are legal things that the community needs in general that are day to day. For example, review of contracts or something like that, where you'll need legal counsel. And then there are the issues of the fighting, and I think what Brother Hussein is alluding to is the fighting, if I'm correct. So I can't give you an exact figure until we get all the details from the lawyers.
But these are like roughly, like, you don't have to be specific. So just roughly, are we talking like a 5,000, 10,000, 20,000?
What are you talking about?
Talking about the money that was spent on legal matters.
So again, we're trying to audit.
So give me, let's say like a range between this and that. Let's say your estimate. You don't have to be specific.
Between 2015 till today, we have asked for an audit,
right,
of all the money that was spent. It's in the hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars were spent on legal fees.
Hundreds with an
S,
plural. Yes.
Is that over 500 or less than 500?
It's hundreds. So I don't want to go to a figure, but because I don't know the details of the specifics on this, right? So
yeah, I think we have a suggestion from Hamad Omar. Say, I think we need a public relation committee. Do you agree to that? What do you think of that?
So that's Mohamed Omar, you're a very smart man. So what had happened about 8 years ago, I was driving to Edmonton with a Canadian friend of mine. We were going to the auction, and he said to me, just out of the blue, he says to me, you know what, you Muslims, you only have one big problem. I go, just one? If it's just one, what is our problem? He says, PR, man. You guys suck at PR.
We do.
You have no public relations whatsoever. And I'll never forget that, what he told me. But I believe we do need a PR committee. Absolutely.
Yeah, we do have no doubt, and I just want to make sure, like, okay, we're gonna stay on the positive side. Sorry, because sometimes when you think like, I agree with you, this, okay, I'm gonna say it. So you think like we do need, we lack public relations and all that, and you try to do your best, whether as a community members or as organizations. So instead of our community and your own community, as much as instead of helping you in that goal, you think the first one who will be just attack you for even speaking up or saying something that in terms of public relation, it will be those people that you are trying to defend in the first place. So anyway, it's sad. Okay, Lubna. Okay, well, it says Lubna here, Muntathir, thank you for discouraging the name calling culture. Hope we are not involved in this. Okay, that's absolutely, we all agree to that.
Absolutely. It has no place, Akhi. Finding an excuse for your Muslim brother, right? I mean, that's the number one thing we need to be doing. But the name calling, absolutely, and all that kind of stuff. Social media as it is right now can be used for such positive things, and bringing the community together rather than dividing us. Inshallah, it gets used in the right way.
I think you mentioned this, but also Burhan Khan saying we have our elders can direct us and our third party. I think this is a call from Burhan to get our elders somehow involved in our community affair. On any level that possible, and I think you already touched on that. Is that something you planning to do, or you want to structure that committee?
No, inshallah, I wanted. One of my discussions, the discussions I had again with the Imams last Sunday, what was in that respect that they need to get involved more, and we need to get some respected elders, and we need to solve our own issues. We don't need to go outside of our own community to solve our issues. Okay. So inshallah, we can get that again. So as you could say, there's a lot of issues for the leadership to deal with.
So true.
Again, so as a volunteer board that we are, and again, I want to say that we still all have families and we all have jobs. And wallahi, I can tell you the last 5 months, I would put in at least 5 to 6 hours a day of community. A lot of days I do 8 to 9 hours of community.
Oh,
and I try to sneak in 1 hour for work here and there.
Wow.
And
or
my family. And it's
so it's not fun. It's not fun to be. It's not fun then. I thought you enjoy all the glory of it. You enjoy being a leader. You enjoy all this. Look at me. I'm a chairman. I'm a members. I'm a board. Because some people feel their chests get bigger and all that stuff. So it's really tough work.
No khair, inshallah. Wallahi, it humbles you. Number one, if you are blessed with having to volunteer at this level, wallahi, I feel it's a blessing. But at the same time, again, it's a responsibility I take seriously. The amount
I was just joking. I totally understand. It's really hard.
No, I know. And it's what my point was, you want to deal with a lot of issues. However, a lot of times you can't get to all the issues because there's so many. But again, we want to try to be as accommodating as possible with all the issues and with all the groups out there and with everything.
This is a big one. Sorry to have put it on the screen, but I'm gonna read it. While I'm reading it, guys, we would like to have some likes and comment. We're reaching 71. We want to make them 100, and as soon as we hit 100, we're gonna let Haji Muhammad just wrap it up. So we need some likes and blue heart, red heart, yellow heart, whatever heart. Just give us some likes, please, because we're getting low on juice here. So Imad Max Saleh says, first of all, thank you to all the board members. This is a big task. So as Haji Muhammad said, transparency, communications will what?
Inshallah, instill trust back. We all need to have the faith and believe moving forward. Learn from the mistakes we made, future decisions for the betterment of all. Patience, trust, understanding, and involvement is the key. Absolutely, Akhi. We ask Allah for patience and we ask Allah for guidance, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Do the right thing at all times, inshallah.
Bismillah. Zain, everyone watching, listening, that can help get the domain and website back. Should. Whoa, I wish. Oh, well, hopefully. So this is an open call. Whomever have access to that domain, this is a community domain. Give it back to us, please.
And there is a court order to not use the domain.
Oh, there's a court order, unfortunately.
Yes.
We didn't have even court order for that.
No,
Come
no,
on,
no.
buddy.
Well, because, Akhi, so again, there were things being posted on the website,
Right.
specifically YYC and Muslims, and it wasn't by the leadership, let's just say. So there was something that was there was a court order not to use that website. So that's why it has not been used. However, inshallah, whoever has the website domain can give it back to the MCC, and we can merge it with a new website, inshallah.
I promise you, when we know who's holding that domain name, maybe we should make that name public, because that's really wrong. No matter what is your motive, what's your justification, this is wrong. And it's just going to be shame on you one day that we're going to find out is you are that person who were holding that domain. For whatever reason, it's unjustifiable. This is wrong. Just give it back to the people, please.
And Omar Hajjar, I read your question here. Again, and kudos to Omar and Omar.
Omarin.
Al-Omarin, wallah. And everybody that knows that Omar loves Omar.
For sure.
And all the work that he does, and their team at Akram Jum'ah is doing an amazing job, wallahi. To have an AGM or SGM, so one of the things on the agenda items for MCC, inshallah, I have asked, it's of utmost importance for me to have an AGM around the last week of June, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So traditionally, not just traditionally, but one of the responsibilities we have is to have an AGM every year, and at the AGM to present and to approve the financial statements. So that's something that hasn't happened. What we need to be doing is approving. So again, the way that the structure works is you get your financial statements in order, you have an AGM, you present them to the AGM, they get approved, then you file to CRA.
Okay.
So inshallah, we want to get back to that mechanism.
Inshallah, mashallah, the likes is flying in front of my eyes. Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. So Susan says that Suzanne is asking, please address the MCC plan with our schools. What is the plan to support the current campuses of Akram Jum'ah and OBK, specifically with their physical structure and lack of funding issues?
Is there currently an MCC education committee in place? Okay, so number one, yes, there is an education committee in place. Number two, on the MCC level, we have approved spending at both schools for upgrades, structural upgrades, whether it be in the gym, both gyms. Actually, I was at Umar bin Khattab 3 days ago. And there's a guy riding a big sander, and they're sanding the gymnasium, redoing it. The cost on that, I believe, is around $18,000 to redo the whole gym. We have a big budget. Some of the things I told the guys to look at are approved. HVAC,
right?
Redoing the gym at Akram Jum'ah. As far as supporting the schools, we met with Palliser, the education committee, and myself with the Palliser School Division. So there is a weighted structure on how the schools get funded. So the weighted structure is like this. So you get 100% funding for second-year students. You get 75% funding for first-year students, or ones that have been there for a year. And for your new students, you only get 50% funding from the government. So as we're going to expand, inshallah, our schools, the one thing that we wanted, there was two things that we asked for. Number one, that anything that goes into the from the Calgary Board of Education back to the city Calgary into their surplus. So these schools go into some kind of surplus there, and then the city sells them off or rents them or whatever it might be, that we get some priority to that. Number two, we asked that Palliser to engage the government prior to us, because we said we're ready to expand. Right. But prior to that, we wanted a commitment from the government to get 100% funding right off the bat, so we don't get only 50% and then have to, supplement that. So inshallah, from an education perspective, these are some of the things we're working on.
I think this is the same question is related to the school, and I think we already answered that, right?
Yeah, I think for
Right. Sorry, we missed that, but it's the same question. So this is Ahmad. Is there a full-time election committee? If so, who are they? And
okay.
what's their responsibility? Yes.
So Brother Ahmad, again, read those bylaws. So in the bylaws, the MCC has to affirm an election committee 6 months prior to an election. So inshallah, we have till almost the end of January to affirm an election committee. Right now, there is no election committee, but inshallah, we will do that.
Inshallah.
We'll affirm a committee.
Okay, I think we already touched on that. I think we're going for an hour and a half. The time is. I have lots of questions. I'm going by them.
So
If you feel like
going,
tired,
that's okay. Inshallah, no, I'm good.
okay.
And I just want to go back to Hussein Rafea here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Inshallah, how comfortable you want to feel comfortable donating. I think for us, and I'll let, and now again, I'm not learned on this subject matter. However, kind of generally as a Muslim, we make our donation, inshallah. We trust the leadership to do the right thing with it. So as long as our responsibility is to donate. That is our responsibility, whether it's zakat al-mal, zakat al-fitr, whatever it might be, or sadaqah, it's our responsibility to donate. If the leadership, if you want to call that, misuses your donation, you have to believe they have to answer at some point.
So true. And you know how many generous people we have in this community, and whatever happened in the past, hopefully it's not going to happen again. So the trust will be at least reestablished, and money will come because lots of people want this community to excel. This is a reminder from Ziad saying المناصب تكليف وليست تشريف وأنت أهلها حاج محمد. So and this is not a. Now you're good in English, so why don't you translate this for us?
All I want to say to him is Barakallah fik, Ziad.
Now, we do have non-Arabic speaking here, so what do you say to that if you translate? So just make sure that you know it in English and Arabic.
I don't know if I can translate it, Akhi. I don't know if I have the Arabic grammar to.
So I mean, this says like the leadership. This is an obligation. This is a duty. This is not a privilege. So when you are elected to serve this community, that's a duty, that responsibility.
There you go.
It's not a privilege that you feel, oh, look at me, I'm elected.
What taklif walaysa tashrif. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
anyway, Chris is a wonderful guy. You know Chris, right?
Chris, oh yeah, where do I know Chris. I can't remember where I met Chris, but yes, I do.
No, he's a wonderful guy. Inshallah, you'll meet him one day. So Chris asking, what about online voting? That we have a brother Zain Arshad last week. He mentioned and he brought these issues up about elections and making it easy and all that, the legality of it. What's your thought on online voting? Like other organization does that. Is that something you think will be? I think, would you look into this?
Absolutely. So here's my perspective, my personal perspective on it. Once you are a member, you have the right to vote. Whether it's online or physically or whichever way, you should have the right to vote when you're a member. Brother Christopher, if you could take that question to Abdullah Shibli while they're working on the website right now. Inshallah, that's one of the things they're looking at also. Again, so why not? I mean, if you're a member of this community, you should be able to vote through any mechanism.
But would you encourage, or would you instruct, or work with your team to build a platform that's going to allow the voting process to be like easy? Because I tell you from my experience, when you go to vote, they treat you like, regardless of the hostile environment, as if like, you know, it shouldn't be like this.
It's not hostile. Mashallah, no, I think we're a passionate people. We are.
Okay.
Well, I think our passion translates into, everybody wants the best for the community, but kind of in their way. And there's nothing wrong with that, and it's, again, that passion sometimes maybe spills a little overboard, but inshallah, we remain passionate about, the affairs of our community. I mean, that's a good thing.
Okay. So if you can work, guys, if you can work on making the voting process is so easy, including making this online voting, and gain that trust in the voting process, that's going to help you so much when you have the trust of the people that you've been elected fairly with no hiccup. And I think that's going to bring a lot of people together.
Inshallah.
So we have worked so hard to promote the candidate, to promote the elections, and Northwest literally have okay سايمة كل الاحترام للحاج. Okay.
Brother Burhan, yes, absolutely. I love Brother Burhan Khan. I got a chance to speak with him on the phone about a month ago. Very good brother, mashallah. This brother wants same as what I do. He wants the best for the whole community.
So
it
true.
Don't matter what. Yeah, absolutely.
But also maybe me and him, we agree on one thing that some other members don't agree is we need to do a better job of reaching out within the community to those people who feel like been targeted or disfranchised, or is it like this group against that group or vice versa. I think we have to stop that and learn how to just work together and believe that we are a community that we have to work together. So I think
I've said this before, Sam, and I'll say it again. For the sake of harmony in this community, I would sit with anybody, anywhere, anytime, inshallah, for the sake of harmony for this community. I don't like the courts. I hate the courts. I hate the lawyers. All this kind of thing, wallahi, in that direction. However, from that perspective, I'll sit with anybody, anytime. I have no issues with anybody. And what I said in the past also, that as much as you might dislike somebody, or as much as you might think that they're so bad, some of our brothers, you just got to remember one thing. They are our brothers. Someday you're going to be shoulder to shoulder, maybe in prayer. Maybe someday you're looking over one another's grave.
So true.
So you got to keep that in mind somehow. And maybe, if you think the brother has gone way off path, inshallah, he can come back into the fold. So we should always keep that line of wanting to communicate and whatnot, always keep it open. Absolutely.
Inshallah. Will the bylaw have bylaws allow women to be part of the MCC? I didn't read the bylaw myself.
Yeah, there's nowhere in the bylaws, I don't think, that said that women cannot be part of MCC. I don't recall seeing anything.
This, I think, Mohammed Tayyib, you already answered that in terms of the financial statement showing all the banking. He's asking for an annual financial statement. I think you already talked about monthly or maybe quarterly or something like that.
Yeah. So again, the annual financial. So there's a couple of things. So at the district level, they do a lot of the financial documentation, let's say, at their level,
right?
And then the MCC does it at a higher level, because we got to do the returns for, again, they are MAC and MCFC returns. There are not returns for CIC Southwest or AJ or INWC or anything like that. Everything falls under MAC and MCFC. So yes, right. Absolutely. And at the AGM, all these financial statements need to be presented. And they need to be online, and you can go through them and see what money is spent. And if you have questions as to some of the money spent, you should be able to ask the question. Okay, so for example, 100,000 on legal for what? And they should be able to get a breakdown as to what that was. Absolutely.
Wonderful. I'm very happy to have this open, transparent chairman. Well, we help to promote people to get the MCC membership. You see, that's a very good point. So leadership, your leadership, Mohammed, definitely well received, and that will encourage people to get more involved, mashallah.
Barakallah. Akhi, I'm just a reflection of the good people that that vote. Wallahi, it's the good volunteers, the good people in the community. We all want the same thing at the end of the day. Whether it's me leading or somebody else, inshallah, or
Inshallah.
Brother Burhan. Like we got to support the good people that are doing the good thing for this community.
Mo Bust, a great community in Calgary, deserve a great leader like Mr. Mohamed
Barakallah
Charanek.
fik, Muhammad Bast. Barakallah fik.
MashaAllah. Tahiyya, Muhammad. Mo Bust,
And
you're
and
one
Mo
of the.
Bast for all the work he did.
Oh my
Ala
goodness, these are amazing. I mean,
I worked with him.
Ziad Ghandour, Mo Bust, you've done an amazing job, guys. You
Mahmoud
and all your
Murra.
team. Oh,
Yes.
Mahmoud Murrah, he's having fun in Lebanon now and administrating YYC Muslims the way he likes. But
It's
anyway, when
like
he's back, we'll talk, buddy.
Mohammed al-Bast, when we were loading the containers for Lebanon relief, I can't keep up with the guy, man. He's a hard worker. But Ziad Gondor, he's a good donut eater. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yes, and honestly, talking about that, I think the Lebanese community did amazing work by
Mashallah.
showing that support. And I'm honestly, I'm humbled by their experience and by their generosity and by their work. With the EMSA, I think led that. There's a lot of great people in this community. We just need to,
And that's an example that I'm talking about. When there's
yes,
a project or some kind of uh, uh, something to rally the people, a cause of some kind, and they all get together and they work and relationships develop from there. Mashallah, we've seen it, and those relationships are everlasting. And you're building character within yourself at the same time, besides doing everything else.
absolutely. I don't think you can answer that, can you?
The intellectual property, possibly.
Okay.
I can't answer it because we don't know for sure. I mean, again, so our bylaws say that the secretary holds all intellectual property.
Right.
So I'll just leave it at that.
Salam, is the price of funeral going to be lowered? Any plan? Cost of funerals?
Not that I know of. No. Not that like, we haven't reviewed the price of funerals to the sister there. No.
Okay. Any word on technology committee? I don't know. Do you?
Well, we don't have a technology committee. We have the communications committee. That's headed by our brother Wissam A'al. And I know Abdullah Shibli, like, again, he's doing amazing work. Abdullah, wallah, this guy's working very, very hard. But he's working on the website and whatnot. So those two gentlemen are there, but I'm not sure if I don't think you can say it's a technology committee. No, we don't have a technology committee that I know of. No.
Okay. Well, تحية Muhammad Shibli. I mean, sorry,
Abdullah.
Abdullah Shibli. Have fun in BC, my friend. No public relations. We need one. Agreed. Totally.
Absolutely. And this is where I'll reach out to anyone who's a PR specialist. I mean, come talk to us.
Okay, Mo Abdullah. Congratulations to brother Muhammad.
Is that you, Sam?
Yeah. That was good. Yeah. Because you think this is like, honestly, again, you think like you're doing the PR and stuff. So instead of people like bring you in, it's just they find every way just not saying all, but unfortunately,
I think like for
it's just push you away. It's just sad. He's trying to do something, say, oh, he's doing it, just like promoting himself, which is stupid. But
no,
anyway.
but honestly, on the PR again, I think too often that people, especially let's talk Muslims in general in Calgary,
Yes.
We're not going to go outside of the city. We let people paint the picture of who we are rather than us tell and we have a good story about ourselves to tell. I mean, a lot of Muslims are involved in a lot of good endeavors here in the city of Calgary. I can name you a whole bunch outside of the Islamic community, and they're involved heavily, the Muslims, and they do great work and they contribute to the fabric of this city big time. And so, yes, we need to tell in a PR way our own story of who we are as Muslims, and all the richness we bring to the fabric of this society. Absolutely.
For those who follow those live videos that I've been pushing for the last month or so, I always said, where are the second generation Canadians, second generation Muslims of Calgary to work and to bring the community together? I just want to steal this 1 second to say, you see, Mohamed Charanek. Mohamed Charanek is a second generation, and that's what you get when you vote the right people in. People who are familiar with the system, people familiar with with everything. So really, that's a perfect example about why we need second generation involvement, and that's lead to more bust. We need to get our youth involved as well. Is there anything been done or any plan to bring the youth into the main arena?
Okay, so there hasn't been much that I know of done, like let's say over the last whatever period. However, one of our major focuses is kind of rebranding our social service arm to include that. So one of the things that we have been talking about, and through our communications that we do as a board, and some of the volunteers outside the board, is to not have our social services arm be a handout, rather be a hand up, and try to retrain people, try to mentor people, try to bring the youth into the fold, the ones without jobs, for example, and find ways, whether it's through sports or jobs or anything like that, to bring them back into the fold. These are a lot of things we're working on. In fact, our social services arm, we might even have to get a bigger space. The way we're planning on expanding it and having it serve the community at a different level, inshallah. That's one of the things coming up. And this is the one thing I touched upon with the imams, is the youth. And I mentioned earlier on, Abdullah Khattab. I've reached out to him and said that we really need to start, and he's very electronically up to date, so, and social media up to date, that we need to reach to the youth in that mechanism and reach to them hard. So we're working on some things with him, inshallah, some programs. They will be on the website soon, and we will target that. I know Sheikh Fayyad does a great job with the Ilm Intensive and whatnot.
Right.
He has about 260 youth, mostly, join his programs all the time. So yeah, I mean,
don't you think, Muhammad, it would be a good idea to have like a youth council under the umbrella of the MCC, like youth for youth kind of thing? Because I think this is really it's important, because always youth run away from people tell them what to do, what not to do, and all that. Don't you think if we can come up with a second layer, or like another layer, mainly to bring youth into the game, don't you think that might be a good idea?
I think it would be a great idea. I worry about one thing though.
What is it?
I wanted to bring the youth into some of our meetings, MCC, for a couple of reasons. Number one, they can see what's going on.
Right.
And number two, inshallah, they could be the future leaders in these director positions.
Right.
However, I worry for them when there's turmoil like there's been lately and whatnot. I think it would kind of turn them off.
So true.
Yeah. So we really need to address the youth out. And again, if there's youth out there, if any youth are, just approach me. I'm willing to listen to anything, inshallah, that can bring the youth into the fold. Absolutely. The challenges of the youth today are things that maybe some of us older generation guys can, we don't appreciate some of the challenges they have. So, I mean, we need to hear from them. Absolutely. So
now that I have a really nice word for you, Muhammad, to say, Brother Muhammad represent true leadership. We have restored faith and trust in our newly elected MCC board. This is the end of communal generation trauma we have endured in the past. Please support current MCC board members. They are doing an exceptional job. I will say absolutely. Here you go,
So,
brother. Here you go. And my goodness, you got a lot of fun. I feel jealous now. You know
thank
what?
you.
I mean, usually I get a good job, Sam. Nobody even want to say something about Sam, which is I'm happy because you really deserve it. You are
Well,
absolutely the leader that's been chosen. And I'm not doing journalism work here because I'm just doing spending the Christmas in Christmas day or night with a friend. And anyway, تحية للجميع. I'm just gonna run quickly here because we have Jazakallah khair. This is a brother Yusuf Jaha. This was a great an answer. What a beautiful. Shukran. Okay. Sure.
and brother Yusuf Jaha, everybody that knows our Akh Yusuf Jaha at the cemetery, mashallah, he's there for yani brother Yusuf, and that's the one I missed. Sorry, when we were at Akram Jum'ah, when we first bought the Akram Jum'ah, one of the volunteers, and he used to bring over. He had the meat store, and he would bring us lots of the beef for free. And we'd be doing barbecues there after all the construction work and everything.
Right.
And brother Yusuf was a huge volunteer. Never mind just the food he used to bring us all the time. Barakallah fiqh. Brother Yusuf, of course, now at the cemetery, we rely on him for so much. Wallah, and he's always there. I mean, you can always count on him.
This is this is a really nice word from Cam Khan. Brother, if you really want to unite all Muslims community, then please bring all Muslims under the one umbrella of MCC, including Shia, Ahmadiyya, and Ismaili Muslims. So again,
Yeah, brother Cam, we have we have our own house to clean up before we reach out. Like I said before, the Muslims need to have, especially on a political level, um, Muslims really need to have a really strong lobby voice. And this is where I think MCC can affect, whether it's through getting some things our way and whatnot, and electing the right leaders. But we really need to have a strong, united uh, voice in politics. Absolutely.
inshallah, we will in time. Stop a word in construction project left and right. Please announce these projects to the community members and give them a chance to bid on it. There was a call from Zain Arshad also for everything like over $10,000 to be tendered, and that's another call came in. So, what's your thought on that, Muhammad?
So the bylaws allow for anything up to $50,000. So to brother, I'm sorry, was it brother Arshad?
No, Mobus.
Okay, Mobus. So in the bylaws, up to $50,000 does not need. You can go ahead and do things. So again, when you're running a big organization such as ours, you don't want to have to run to go get an AGM or an SGM for everything you do. However, over $50,000, that's the threshold right now.
Mm-hmm.
We feel, and again, I think that's a good threshold. If anything, we need to bring it down a little bit, but 50,000 needs anything over 50,000 needs an AGM or an SGM. However, no project. So I'm not sure which projects, but we have not given under our leadership, no projects to anywhere. And the projects require absolutely 3 tenders. So if you'll check, I know that we've done some minor things. For example, the gymnasium, as I mentioned, at Umar bin Khattab, we have 3 tenders on it, and we go with the one that we feel is the best. So always three tenders on every job, minimum.
And Amelia saying these projects need to be blank and not to be awarded to friends or families.
So yeah, I mean that's. I think that it's shameful if you award a project to a friend or family just because they're a friend or family. Again, so that's not something that we would do as a leadership here. We don't believe in doing something like that. However, to Sister Amelia, the cemetery specifically, 2 brothers have committed a significant amount of money, basically to pay for the whole project at the cemetery.
MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khair.
Absolutely. No, جزاهم الله كل خير. So they will pay for the whole thing. However, I know I've spoken to Wissam A'il on this, and I said, Wissam, even though the brothers are going to look after the whole thing, we still have to go through the proper protocol. It has to come through MCC for approval, AGM, same as, or SGM, same as we would do any project. And then the brothers can donate the money afterwards. That's the
Right.
proper way of doing it for the whole amount. So it still has to be under the guidance of MCC. Inshallah. So even then, I know Amelia's saying you don't want to award to family or friends. Even in that situation, we're saying still has to go through the proper protocols.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's fair to say friends and families, not families,
No,
but
it's fine. It's fine.
yeah,
No, I understand where she's coming from because
yeah,
I understand some stuff in the
sure.
past was
It
not
happens in the
was
past,
questionable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I just have to bring it up. Well, okay. It happens in the past, so when I mean, that's why people
Yalla, you
referring
got
to it.
24 seconds. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. If we go over time, we're okay.
Yeah. So regarding the online membership and voting, stay tuned. This is Abdullah Shibli, Director Abdullah Shibli, saying, "Stay tuned. The most amazing tech team is working on this." Okay, that's great news. Thanks, Abdullah Shibli.
Abdullah, again, he is wallahi, and Mishmi Wiju is, I know he's on there, but he
Yeah.
is one of the hardest working people that I know. He's working tremendous, and he's got a team of people that are working just as hard as him. And again, my thanks go out to them for making us look good. But they're working super hard, and they're going to deal, inshallah, with the online voting, inshallah.
Mohamed Chibli says, very informative and well presented, gentlemen. I think he's talking about me, right?
Yeah, I think Mohamed Shibli's talking to you.
No. This is really for you, my dear friend,
Oh, you're
Mohammed.
breaking up there, Sam. I don't know what's going on, but
Okay, this is for you here. So I'm glad to see this questions here from. Just bear with me, and I'm sorry if I'm keeping you too late. It's you have all the time. If you have like if it's this is too much, you let me know. But I see I have a lot of questions here, and I'm just gonna try to go through them as much as I can. Just bear with me, please. So many.
Sam, there's a really bad connection there. Do you want to?
Okay, do you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you're breaking up when you talk. I don't know what's going on.
Is it okay now?
Try now.
1, 2, 3, 4. Bismillah.
There you go.
Bismillah.
Now you're good. Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. As I said, I was saying is I'm just gonna jump. I'm just gonna jump to this while I'm looking for the other questions. This is Zaid Arshad. Zaid Arshad is somebody. I don't know if you do. You know Zaid Arshad?
No, I don't.
Okay, I think that just you need to jog this name down. I think this gentleman has a lot of potential. But I'm gonna go back to my. Sorry, so this is the question that I was, and this is Amar Al Farouk. Why hasn't the administrations changed in Akram Jum'ah Association? Most of them. What? Okay. You want to respond to that, Amar? This is a question saying.
So again, with all respect to our brother Omar, we can't really accuse anybody of anything. Again, there are our Islam tells us how to deal with such things. So inshallah, we should not be making any accusations, inshallah. So.
Okay. Great to hear. Who is part of this most amazing tech team?
So that question, Zain, would go to our brother Abdullah, but I think that he has a team of volunteers. What criteria was used to select this team? As you could probably imagine, brother Zain, it was a mad scramble for us to launch a website in such a short period of time. It was like trying to find the COVID vaccine in such a short period of time. As this is going to be our main lifeline, basically, of communication to the community, we had to do whatever we could, inshallah, to get everything done within a very short period of time. So that you can reach out to Brother Abdullah afterwards, inshallah, and ask him. And if you'd like to be on the team, I'm not sure if they're completed the task or not, but he would be one to talk to.
Well, for Muhammad Abdullah Shibli, if you're still out there, definitely make sure to go to make contact with the Zain Arshad. Absolutely, it's an amazing, well needed asset. You guys should do something important for the cemetery. Okay, okay. This is Yad.
There will be, inshallah, some important things done at the cemetery. I think we spoke about that a few times, inshallah.
Kalavi, elaborate. Would you please elaborate more on your accusation? Oh, that's not for you. Okay, we have here Sayla saying أولا I'm gonna من بين كل هذه الإطراءات والمديح وهذه الوفود من المحبين أتمنى التوفيق للجميع، ولكن بعدما رأينا موجات الربيع العربي والانقلابات العربية على الحكومات وما سعادة الناس بهذه الانتفاضات التي تبعها خيبات أمل كبيرة بفشل ذريع لهذا الربيع، لا أريد أن تكون نظرتي سوداوية، ولكن برأيي الشخصي هذه الانتفاضة هي ولادة حقيقية للجالية الإسلامية تحت ظل منظمة موحدة سنرى قطافها خلال مدة قصيرة. أما أننا نحب أن نتخلص أننا يجب أن نتحضر للأسوأ، وهل من ممكن أن يوجد بعض الخروقات؟ آمل من الجميع تكون تحت سيطرة. Okay. Well, I think okay. Okay. I think saying is after all this nice word that's happening and there's a lot of people applauding you, she's saying like we hope we're not going to be disappointed. That's what I can conclude from her comment, because she said she was referring to the Arab Spring. People got excited, they are voted somebody in, and they got disappointed, and then everything just crumbled.
So, to everybody that's listening out there, number one, this is a volunteer organization. Number two, you're working for the sake of Allah, Rabbna subhanahu wa ta'ala, to do something good for this community, to bring people together and whatnot. You're not going to please everybody 100% of the time, but inshallah, the majority will be happy with our efforts. But the one thing that I want to tell the sister is our efforts are genuine, and our efforts they're from the heart. And while we might have obstacles that we might get in our way or might hinder us in some way, know that we are doing the best that we can. We don't have any motives other than to please Rabbna subhanahu wa ta'ala, number one, and for the betterment of this community. So inshallah, within that, and we all have capacities, certain limits. For example, I have technological limits or other kind of limits. Even so sometimes you can't reach everything you want because you're limited. But for the capacity that we have, inshallah, we will do the best we can.
Inshallah. Oh wow! Here you go. This is a next question. We have a problem in our community. Lots of young men dying from overdose. Please get them help.
Yes, absolutely. So our sister Nada Mir'i has connected with the Muslim BC Association. They have launched a program there. She has brought the program to Calgary. The program aired last week, and that's what they're focused on, people that have addiction problems of all kinds. So I would ask our brother also if he would like to volunteer. Hiam?
Yeah,
our sister.
Yeah.
Afwan. Sorry, Sister Hiam. I would ask Sister Hiam to reach out to Sister Nada, and if she would like to perhaps volunteer in this aspect. Sister Nada has launched a great program with the BC Muslim Association, and it's all revolves around addiction. So it is being touched upon, inshallah.
So that's something been already under your radar, and that's something you're going to keep on working on, right?
Inshallah. Absolutely. And I was actually on a conference call with them about 2 weeks ago, and including Sister Nada, and I believe Abdullah Shibli was on with us on the conference call, and they wanted the basically our blessing to come out here. We said absolutely, come out and reach out, because we believe, again. So I'm a realist, and it's not like Muslims are immune to some of the issues, whether it be suicide or addictions or anything like that. We have the same issues as other communities have, and we have to start dealing with them, and we have to admit we have them. That's the first thing, and start dealing with them. And so that initiative we have taken, and absolutely we take that seriously.
But Brother Muhammad, the other community, they are more, the other people, the other community, they are more transparent and open to discuss this matters. But I feel in our community, in our culture, it's not that easy. And I think really that's hurting other people. The more we talk about this problem, the more we address it, maybe we can help even one person. For me, it's really worth to keep talking about it, because somebody might be sitting somewhere. So we need to prevent this from happening, not only to treat it.
Absolutely, Akhi, absolutely. And that's what I said. When I was talking to, we were on about a 1.5 hour Zoom meeting with them. And I said, somebody had asked, well, how do you know if it's successful? I said, it's really easy. If you manage to save one person from addiction or from death, it's successful. Just one person. That's all you need. Nothing more. But inshallah, that's an initiative that we're taking. And again, it's Sister Nada that's spearheading it. Reach out to her.
Great. Nadeem saying, I would like to see more budget on the massages, the interiors and exteriors to reflect the modern Islamic architecture. Just spend the extra money and just, give us that.
I hope you have a plan, Brother Nadeem, but that's a great idea.
Nadeem is an awesome community volunteer. Also, this is a name that hopefully is going to be also will be utilized, because he has a lot of potential and he want to do work. He do want to volunteer. So Salim Al-Haj saying, what kind of process do you have in place for hiring, contracting, bid services to ensure fairness and equality amongst and I think we already touched that. What is the HR process adhere to when hiring staff and make sure it's fair and unbiased process?
Okay. So right now we're not hiring any staff. We haven't due to COVID. However, we are going to be looking to hire one staff. So the process would be tendered normally through the website. We would put out the position through the website. So the number one thing we do, especially when you have a new position, we create the position with all its duties and responsibilities. That's the number one thing we do. And then, of course, you advertise it through whatever mediums you have. Applications are reviewed. There is an HR committee, Human Resources Committee, that does the interview, and they'll interview the candidates, and they will choose, inshallah, the best candidate, and they'll recommend them to the MCC for approval, because the MCC, again, does not have very many employees. Most of it revolves around administration, accounting, general management, and that's about it. A lot of the other employees are at the district level, although they might get paid from MCC, from one of the MAC or MCFC accounts.
Okay.
But as far as MCC goes, no. So there is a process, there is protocol, and that's basically what it is. Yes.
Abdullahi Hamdi.
Yes.
Great job. Strong united leadership is needed nowadays in Calgary. We may Allah reward you for your efforts and to serve our community.
Barakallah fiqh, Brother Abdullahi.
Quick.
That's okay. No, let the brother. I appreciate the brother where he's come from. So one of the things I want to say. So he said that this
administration has
been for years, and all people have complained about it. And I'm telling you the truth. So, Brother Omar, again, so we need to get always fresh leadership, fresh youth into there. Nobody wants to see the recycling of all the old committee members right from day one. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. when this responsibility, when I took onto this responsibility, the last thing in the world I wanted to do was run again for MCC. A lot of pressure from community members to run for this position. It's not something I wanted. I eventually ended up running because my wife had a good stern talk with me that you need to do this. But again, I take it very seriously. So I appreciate where you're coming from, and we all like to see new and fresh blood, inshallah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I think this is reached the last questions I have, and that's will be more than, my goodness, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Hajj Muhammad, this is beautiful. I'm sure I missed some questions, but alhamdulillah, mashallah alaik, you're absolutely way to go, chairman. Okay, I think I like that.
Barakallah.
So
I just want to say a huge thank you to you, brother Sam Namura, for putting this on. Wallahi, it's inshallah this could be one of our communication mediums to the community also. If we're in this position, we should be able to answer all the questions, inshallah. And yeah, absolutely.
Jazakallah kul khair,
Barakallah.
But I'm gonna leave the last word to you, Haji. If there's anything you'd like to say to all the MCC members or all this big community, Muslim community in Calgary, if there's any word you'd like to finish this night talk with.
Again, so number one, I would like to wholeheartedly and genuinely thank all the volunteers. There are so many volunteers, wallahi, and I shouldn't have been putting names out there because there's so many that I miss. I know that for sure. And I encourage everybody else to volunteer. And if you have, the one thing that I see, people will have ideas and say, okay, why don't you guys do this or that? But I want to say to them, why don't you guys bring your idea and a plan and let's do it together? Because this community belongs to everyone, not just one, 11 directors or whatnot. It belongs to everybody, akhi. And I'm saying to everybody, inshallah, I'm open to talk to anyone through email, through phone, anytime. And don't just bring me something and say, here, go do this. I would like to see you get involved. I'd like to see people volunteer in every way. And again, so together, inshallah, we can achieve a lot, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah kul khair, Haji Muhammad, and to all the board members and to everybody who's working out there without mentioning their names. And as we know, so many people, so many unknown soldiers in the field, volunteers and donors. Thanks for all the donors who give charity to these organizations to keep them running. Thanks to our Imams, those who try hard to provide spiritual and faith guidance. I understand they're trying to do their best, and it's not easy. So really, this community is so rich in its capacity. And Sheikh Haji, give us 2 hours and 15 minutes of your time. This was really a blessing for all of us. Please just keep us in mind. Please remember, there's a lot of hunger, a lot of thirst to do work in this community. People want to do something, but they want to restore faith in this organization and another organization. And so just keep us in mind that there's a lot of people want to do. So this is not only an election. This is not about a committee that was elected and that's it. Honestly, this is such an important time. So please keep up the good fight, keep up the good work, and don't hesitate to reach out for volunteers or money for that matter.
Barakallah feekum. Barakallah feekum, everybody. Barakallah feekum. Thank you for having me, and inshallah, again, we can touch base with the community soon again, inshallah.
Tahiyati ilak. Thank you very much, Haji. Barakallah feek.
Yeah, Allah ma.
Guys, this is the end of my 2 hours and 17 minutes, and inshallah, hopefully you enjoyed you enjoyed it, and we learned something new from it. I really thanks for all the people who commenting or put comment, put shares. I understand 2 hours is too long, but it was needed, and also we have it's a beautiful time, so we try to share it with you. Thank you very much for all the supporters out there, and barakallah fikum, jazakallah khair. Ayad الناس إن شاء الله مبارك جميعا. Have a wonderful winter break. Assalamu alaikum.